Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel where I will be teaching you all about programming, databases and data analysis. In this very first tutorial, we are going to start off with one of the most popular and useful query language named SQL. Now the question arises, what is SQL? But before going deeper into what is SQL, I'm going to walk you off with the today's agenda. We're going to learn about what is SQL, relational versus non-relational database, types of relational databases, installation part of Workbench, and then some basic SQL commands. Circling back to what is SQL. SQL stands for Structured Query Language, and it is a programming language that is used to manage and manipulate data in relational database. With SQL, you can create, modify, insert, update, and retrieve information as per your demand from database with ease. But what makes SQL so powerful? Let's put it this way. If database were kingdoms, SQL would be the king of those kingdoms. But be aware, if you don't respect its command, it might just throw a syntax error and banish you to the dungeons of endless debugging. And you're gonna end up like. Anyway, jokes apart, it is a query language which is used by millions of programmers and data analysts worldwide. Going further deeper into the type of databases, there are two types of databases available, relational and non-relational. If we talk about the relational databases, you could think of it as the tables are arranged in a structured way, and you could thought of it as like spreadsheet in Excel, where the different tables are combined or joined through some primary and foreign keys. On the other hand, if we talk about the non-relational databases, the data is unstructured. You could get videos, images, or some JSON format type, like I have shown here. So our focus would only be on the relational databases. So let's dig deeper into the relational database and see what type of databases or what different databases available to us. So there is Postgres, MySQL, MariaDB, SQL Server, Oracle, Snowflake, and Amazon Redshift. In, in this tutorial, I'm gonna use MySQL database. Once you have gotten grip on this, it would be easier for you to switch between different DBs because it's just a difference of syntax. Alright, so now that you have learned what is SQL and type of databases available, now I'm gonna walk you over with the installation part of Workbench. For that, you would have to visit mysql.com, click on downloads, scroll down to click on MySQL community and then click on MySQL installer for Windows. Make sure you have selected the Microsoft Windows and then click on download. Once you have downloaded the file, you would get something like this. Double click on this application. It will ask for your permission and then this window will pop up. There are different type of setups available, but we're gonna go with the custom. Click on custom and then click on next. Now that we have to install two things. First, MySQL server. For that, just click on this and then now we have to install the latest one. So we're gonna just shift from available product to installed. Okay, and the second thing is the Workbench. For that, click on application, install the latest version of Workbench. That's it. Click on the next button and it will ask you to set directory for the installation. Just click next and these are ready to install. Just execute. It will take some time and we will meet again once installed. Alright, so it's completed. Click on the next button and now you have to configure the SQL server. Click on the next button. I'm going to leave the setting as it is. Click on the next. You have to use like strong password for the authentication. Click on the next button. So it is asking me for the root password just because I have already installed it once. So like if you are installing it for the first time, it will prompt you to type password and then retype the password, just like as you are installing it for the first time. All right, so I'm going to type my root password, click on the check. All right, click on the next button, next, and execute. It will then install the workbench and SQL server. Once it's finished, just click on finish button, configuration completed, click on the next, and here you go. You just click on this dialog button so that once you click on the finish, the workbench will pop up on its own. Here you go. Here's your workbench. So on the below, we can see the instance. Instance means that it is a connection. Let's say your Microsoft, let's say there's a SQL server that is running on some cloud and you want to connect this workbench to the cloud SQL server. You just click on this plus button and this window will prompt up and just enter your connection name, host name, port, and password, and you are connected to the SQL server which is present on some cloud. But for now, we are just doing it on our local machine, so it is already here. Just click on this and it will take you up to your instance. All right. On the left pane, if you see, there's a schema navigator. Schema is a thing you could think of it as like a folder which contains, like if you click on this button, let's say this is a schema, and if you dig deeper into the schema, you would find tables, views, stored procedures, and function. And if you further dig deeper into tables, you have different tables, right? And these all tables can connect with each other through some primary or foreign keys, right? But don't worry if you don't understand anything. We will walk you over with all this stuff step by step. All right, so that now that you have learned how to install Workbench, we're gonna move on with some of the basic SQL commands, like how to create schema, how to set up the use schema, and then create tables within those schema. All right, so we walk over with some of the basic syntax and then actual working of those commands. Create a schema, you have to use create schema and then the schema name. After that, before you create a table in that schema, you have to specify or let SQL know that you are creating a table and the table should be created in the schema that you have just created. So you have to use this use schema name and then create table command to create a table in your new schema. So the create table command goes like the create table and your table name, open and close parentheses, and between those parentheses, we have all the column names and their data types. Forget about these optional parameters. We're going to talk about them later in our course. Okay, so let's let's say in your organization there is a marketing team and they want to analyze or perform some analysis on Workbench and they want to create their own schema. So they can create it like using this command create schema and then marketing. Let's run this. All right, it is successfully run. Just click on the refresh. You have this schema named marketing. All right, This schema is empty currently because we haven't created any table in this schema. So before creating a table, we have to let SQL know that we want to create a table, but we need that table to go into this marketing schema. So for that, we use this use marketing command. So the schema is set. Okay. And now we're going to use create table command and create an employee table which contains ID of the employee, name of the employee, email, and at what time that employee joined or something like that. So ID would be an integer. So the data type is the integer. Just ignore these things. We're going to talk about them later. Name is the string. So we're going to use varchar. And in the parentheses, we have the length. Like it could have 50 alphabets, or the string, the length of the string would be 50 max. And for email, we have the same like string, and the max could go up to like 100. And created is just the timestamp. We could like change it to something else later on. It's just an example. Okay? So let's create this. Okay, it's completed. Just refresh the schemas. Okay, so you have the table name employee, and how you can see this table, right? So for that, you would have to type select all, the static means all, right? From your table, right? Which is marketing. So you just highlight this command, run this command. Okay, so you have to, marketing is the schema, and you have to specify the table name as well. Okay, it should be fine now. All right, but now as you can see, the table is empty. We have nulls in it. Why? Because we haven't insert anything into this table. So for that, to insert the rows or the data into the table, we have to use the insert command. And the insert command we're going to talk about in our next lecture. So we're going to wrap up this session till here and see you in next lecture.